Ha! Yeah, you got two choices, man. Take the blue or the red pill. Take the blue pill, stay your ass in the world and keep on eating microwave dinner. You wanna take the red pill? You can come out and wine and dine with me. It's a mouth, man, let's do it. I got a Kevlar mind with Teflon rhymes, antidote to venomous minds that decline the truth. Trapped in a box, stops locked, programmed to be spooked. I'm on some lynch mob shit, but the devil programmed to shoot. And got some steel at the tip of my boots just to regulate. We can get it all night, I'm on, just name the date. And don't hesitate, being a gangster ain't no good if your thoughts is featherweight. I don't care who got the best team, I'm here to drop the word and keep it moving like jet streams. And Luster Green got my niggas moving like dope fiends. You gotta see the picture, but they ain't made for flat screens. Lemur Park and Skid Row was where he's last seen. Survivalists with holy water filled in his canteen. The boogeyman's here to put an end to American dreams. I'm out of sight of extraterrestrial beings. Everything the Most High does, I hold it sacred. No stopping the subject, Jacob, you still plugged in the matrix. Me, I took the red pill. Shook the snakes and the demons, keep them moving like a tracks on a treadmill. When I say I'm a Jew, I'm dead real. It's hard hats and flashlights on the hunt for Israel. We in the last days to see the killer be killed. But niggas is caught up with talking trucks and big wheels. Heavyweight Solomon tools, I use knowledge to rule. Rejecting wisdom as an act of a fool. Christ is king, born to rule, let's take him to school. Open up the sword, baby, let it do what it do. Simple as that, Van Helsing the rap. I swing lefty when I'm holding a bat, righty when I'm holding a cat, man. On the highway to heaven, dipping out in the fast lane. I let my hair grow, OD'd on road game. Spit the hot shit, taking shots of propane. SOJ created our own lane. Facing for a queen, got no time for a dumb thing. Nowadays to be heard, I gotta be rude and profane. Dumb down my knowledge, make me look like I'm some lame. It's a trip of niggas with chump change, be so vain. It's the principle of truth, IQAhmath his first name. Come on, everything the Most High does, I hold it sacred. No stopping the son of Jacob, you still plugged in the matrix. Me, I took the red pill. Shook the snakes and the demons, keep them moving like a tracks in a treadmill. When I say I'm a Jew, I'm dead real. It's hard hats and flashlights on the hunt for Israel. We in the last days to see the killer be killed. But niggas is caught up with talking trucks and big wheels. Yeah. Okay. So understand what I'm putting out there. Red pillars only, okay? You want to take the blue pill, microwave, popcorn your ass to death, go ahead. You know? I ain't got time for that, man. I'm too focused for that. The soldiers that I roll with is too focused for that. So if you want to get down, get your mind right, come and holler at me. You know? Because when Yahweh Shah comes back, it's a rap like a gypsy mummy. A lot of these heathens want to trip and act a fool. I thug it out for the Lord, and I don't need no tattoos. We drop bombs with the Bible while you stand there baffled, looking like you seen a ghost. I'm with the Lord of hosts. Still keep a hood, crack a yak, and we can take a toast. Cheers.
All praise, honor, glory to the Most High. While Yahweh Shah, that's your brother Amath. I require first name. IQ is all the same. Shabbat shalom to the families in the house. Hold on, let me turn this down, making sure the sound is good. Looking good. All right, all praises. Shabbat shalom to everybody that's in the house, man. Shalom, 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 shalom. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, all that good stuff. Peace and blessings, man. Peace and blessings to the 12 tribes scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Prayerfully, everybody's doing well today as this broadcast is reaching you. Another transmission to destroy the system. You dig what I'm saying? Hopefully, everybody's well in the house. Who we got in the house so far? All right, the house of Bayan in the house. Shalom to you and your household, good brother. Uziel, shalom to you. Rosemary out there in London. Shalom to you and the fam out there. Shalak, good brother in the house. Shalom, shalom. There go Kohath in the house. Why am I surprised? Why am I not surprised? My man. All right. Shalom to you. The Quab in the house, as per usual. Shalom, shalom. My brother Hoshai and the brethren out there in Jamaica, man. Shalom to y'all, man. Preferably all of y'all are well. The Sharwa Walk in the house. Shalom to you. The elder in the house. Shalom, shalom. Who's that saying I'm still here? Where'd you go? All praises. All praises. All right. Anybody else who's going to be joining us, man? Shabbat shalom to all of y'all, man. If you're watching it on the Shabbat, man, if you're catching it on the back end, shalom to you. As you can see in the title, man, Trump's plan to save America just blew up in his face. Blew up, ignited, detonated, right? So if you're concerned about, whether or not America is going to be built back better, made great again, made affordable again, all that other stuff, man, the Lord is continuously showing us that dream is quickly faded, right? You see what happened with his tariffs deal. That was the whole economic plan to not only tax the people, because when you're paying those tariffs, the taxes end up coming on us, you, me, and everybody else are going to end up having to pay exorbitant prices because these other nations that we're getting goods and services from are paying taxes. So they're going to raise the prices on stuff to get imported over here. When that happens, who ends up having to flip the bill? Yeah, you and me. Meanwhile, he's saying that's all going to help you. This all going to bring jobs back. It's going to help your pockets. I can't tell. Um, Supreme Court scrapped that. So now there's a whole nother divide going on within America as they're fighting over the economic policy that's going to be set up. You know, we see what happened with the Doge, with them going through supposedly draining the swamp, trying to save everybody money. That whole department got scrapped. You end up finding out a lot of them was on ketamine and all kind of drugs and everything else. Elon quit. So that was a failure. Inflation is still high. He parades himself running around talking about how gas is down. Well, listen, that gas is slowly but surely creeping back up. We had a good little run out here in California. We got probably the highest cost of gas in the country, if not top 3 for sure. There was a good run, maybe about, give or take, man, maybe about 3 weeks. That regular unleaded was under $4. I think the lowest I seen was like $3.89, something like that. It's all back up to $4.25, $4.59 for premium unleaded and all that. That's even going back up. That dream is now being fading away. And you know what? Come time, summertime travel, they're going to be boosting that up again too. So everything now is just kind of like blowing up and imploding in his face. Meanwhile, with the primary elections coming up in the midterm elections coming up in November, it's not looking good for him right now. His approval rating is dropping. He's got multiple wars on his hands. It's not looking good. All praise to the Most High, right? Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me grab my water, and we're gonna get right into the business at hand. All right, all praises. It's lucky, y'all. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Why don't we? Why don't we? If you're blessed and you're feeling well today on this Shabbat, man, and the Lord woke you up, to give him opportunity to continually praise him, to keep his commandments, throw a 7 in the chat, man. Let me know y'all all right. All right. If you need some prayers, throw a 3 in the chat. Throw a 3 in the chat. If you need prayer, let me know. Make sure we put you on our prayer list, and we'll keep things solidified through the Spirit that way. All right. Let me go ahead on and share my screen. Let's go this way, and let's start in Malachi, the 1st chapter, right? Because as we're seeing this particular struggle that's going on, matter of fact, before we go there, we have to go here. We have to go to Mark, the 3rd chapter. And we're going to start at verse 24. And we're going to read down a couple of verses because this is vital. You brothers that put the 3s in there, y'all already on. Y'all already on. My sister Hashma, we're going to make sure you get put on there as well. All right. Yeah, let me make sure I got everybody. Let me make sure I ain't miss nobody because I don't want to miss none of y'all. All right. All praises. Okay, cool. All right. So starting at verse 24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. So we're seeing a complete divide going on within America. Now, this place, like last week's lesson, talking about when I titled it, The Melting Pot is Bubbling Over. You know, America was known as the Great Melting Pot, right? This is the place where all cultures, languages, peoples can come, blend together to get in this nice big old tasty gumbo pot that's supposed to make you feel good and fulfill all your dreams and everything else. Now that thing is burning and bubbling over, man. It's spilling over. That dream is faded away. It's now destroyed. The dish, you leave something on the stove too long, man. It's burning. It's now destroyed. It's flavorless. That's America now, man. The dream is now faded away. It's not happening. They're even talking about tourism is down tremendously. Let me see this real quick. Hold on. Let's just see the decline. Now you got one. Here's one day ago. For U.S. tourism, the second Trump slump is worse than the first. Nobody even wants to come here anymore. Foreign travelers avoiding the U.S. This used to be the place where everybody wanted to come to. Everybody wanted to visit. Everybody wanted to be a part of. Everybody was looking to have their dreams fulfilled. You wanted to go to Disneyland and Disney World. You wanted to go see, New York and LA and the fashion. And you wanted to see the culture. You wanted to be a part of what America had to offer, the beaches, Miami, LA, Now everybody's like, that place is infested. We don't want no parts of it. We'll save our money. Why? Because it's being more apparent. You even see within the little MAGA hat cult, they're having a wide divide there. I got a video of the brothers. Edomite Sean Ryan used to be a heavy Trump supporter, ex-military, I believe he's ex-Navy SEAL. He got a YouTube channel, real big. He didn't completely flip and went ballistic on Trump. What's the name? The little Nick Fuentes. He was waving the Trump flag heavy. Extreme right-wing extremist. He didn't flip the script. He's cussing out Trump every chance that he's got. All of them are now turning on him. Candace Owens, she was riding the Trump wave for a while until she wasn't. Now she's riding against the whole system. So if the Lord said that the kingdom is divided against itself, let alone you got the divide between the blue and the red, the Republicans and the Democrats. Yeah, they're gang banging in the White House too. They worried about, Lil Tata and Lil Devil over here gang banging here. I understand. No. The bigger stage is the real gangs, the politicized gangs that's drawing the destruction of America. And it's clear. If it's divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. That's words from our Savior, our big brother, IQAhmath. If he said it, count it as good. Verse 25, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. There are people divided about even literally the White House, with Trump adding on to his ballroom and everything else. There's people that ain't with that. He's saying, oh, it's privately funded. I'm not using any. Please. That dude has committed white collar crimes his whole career, thus having 6 bankrupt businesses. Taking a little bit of money here and there. Remember, on his first term, he was talking about he knows how politicians work because he's donated and paid off a lot of politicians so that he can have his will be done. So you don't think he's still part of that same gang where he's accepting and taking in money to do things? Look what he did with Venezuela. He did that. I showed y'all a couple months ago. After he raided Venezuela, he took $500 million and sold some oil and then dumped it over in a private fund overseas. Where is that money at? There's people divided against that, mad about that. So as long as we see them nipping and biting at each other's heels, man, we're in good shape. We're in good shape. All right. Because all these things have to come to pass, man. If we want out of here, you want the end of this kingdom, you want the beginning of the kingdom under the rulership of Christ, we have to go through all of these things. And this place has to have a decided fall. And it's not no big burden for you or me to deal with. The Lord said, this is the burden that's coming to Esau. Yeah, let them have a divide and conquer moment. They've had plenty of those moments with us and still are enjoying a divide and conquer moment. Not only did it happen to the Native Americans over here in the States, it's happening between the Caribbean Americans and so-called Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. There's a divide there. He's licking his chops, loving that. With us being divided, there's divide amongst the Hispanic tribes. Salvadorians don't like Mexicans. Guatemalans don't like Mexicans. Puerto Ricans don't like Cubans. Cubans don't like. They love it. That's the ignorance. That's the destruction of our people, man. When the Lord said, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge," the nations prey on us not knowing and understanding who we are. The unification and the bond in the spirit, let alone bloodline that we have, as long as that remains ignorant to us, He continually throws in blades and darts of destruction and division, all the way down to this thing that we call the truth. As much as, we stick our chest out and say we got the truth and we're in the truth and we're law-abiding men and women, God-fearing men and women, but there's still division within us. And He sits back and says, yeah, they got the truth, but as long as they stay divided, we ain't got nothing to worry about. And that's just what it is. And if you historically understand what happened with, we talked about this before. We historically understand the capturing and the seizing of Jerusalem. What was the state of affairs within Jerusalem? There was already divided sects of Israelites then within the priesthood. The Essenes, the Zealots, you had the Sicarii, you had the Pharisees, you had the Sadducees, all different schools of understanding and thought at some point in some form or fashion, all drawing disciples to themselves, and at the same time, while there were divides and wondering who was going to lead, who had the ultimate truth, who was going to be the ones that the people were going to entrust themselves in. You had some like the Sadducees who were compromised and making side deals with the government, rolling along with Rome, accepting their little handouts, It ain't no different with what's going on right now. You got some with the 501c3 and, some are taking, the grants and the monies that come from them and saying, hey, we're doing things all right. We can still do what we want to do. This is all part of our government. Okay, that's all cool. As long as you taking the money, using it for rights and the sake, okay, cool. But when the ish hits the fan and you've got to sacrifice those things, we'll see who's ready to do it. But it's the same thing that's going on, man. And as Israel was dealing in confusion and separation, man, here comes Esau, man, moving in with armies and marches and destruction, seized the temple, and before you know it, everything we had was gone and lost. And Yahweh told us in Luke 21, He said, man, you're going to be delivered up. Your kinfolk's going to turn on you. There's going to be problems and divisions within the nation. However, we see it replaying out now, and the Lord is showing us the destruction of America's daddy, Rome, is right before us, and everything that Rome was going through, which led to its ultimate destruction, America's going through economic collapse, overexpansion of the military, high inflation, the devaluation of the denarii. Very similar to what's going on with the dollar. Invasion of the barbarian tribes, the border collapse and everything. It's all the same thing replaying out. And we're going to touch on that in a minute too. But let's look at this, right? Because this is important. The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel. To who? Israel by Malachi. This is a prophetic understanding that Israel needs to understand and know regarding Esau. Why is that dynamic so important? People, especially in our own community, man, Israel be, why you always worry about Esau? Listen, the Most High wouldn't tell us, Israel, you need to pay attention to understand the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi, because Esau is going to play a vast role in what happens to us prophetically and our relationship with them. It ain't just about bashing Esau all day, but he is highly relevant as it pertains to what, when, and how we got where we're at right now. Verse 2, I have loved you, saith Yahweh, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? This to Israel. Malachi is telling them, Israel, the Most High loves you. And Israel saying, how? I can't tell. We're divided, we're ignorant, we're broke, we're living in poverty, we're filling up the jails, we went through slavery, we've been lynched, hung, burned, our history's been taken from us. Well, how does the Most High love us? I don't see that, you know? And you hear in the echoing of people in our community. If there is a God, how come he took my baby from me? If there is a God, how come I'm stuck in these projects? If there is a God, how come he killed my grandmama? We question the existence of Yahweh, the self-existing one. That's a that's an oxymoron, man. The Most High is completely existent, self-existent. And they question his existence, question his judgment. So they're saying, well, how you love us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahweh? Yet I love Jacob. He said, look, I made a hard choice. I made a choice. If that ain't love, I don't know what is. Esau was the eldest. The elder brother is supposed to receive the glory, the inheritances. The elder brother is supposed to carry on the initial legacy of the father. So if the Most High said, look, how much more can I show you that I love you when I made a choice? I told you. You had a paternal brother named Esau. He said, wasn't he? He said, wasn't he your brother? Yet I love Jacob. The Most High said, I made a choice between the two. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Verse 3, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished. So when Esau is dealing with a destruction of his kingdoms, when he's dealing with the judgment of the Most High, when he sees things that down for him, when they lived in the Caucasus Mountains, when they lived amongst the animals and the Neanderthal ways that they've grown accustomed to. That was all from the Most High. Now he said, we're impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. So anytime they had a destruction of kingdoms, from Greece, then to Rome, when you see all of the other particular kingdoms getting played out, the seven horns, from Rome, Great Britain, France, Germany, Russia, so forth and so on. Constantly they say, well, this is just one end. We're just going to keep building. This is why you look at America and the system as like a hydra. When you see in Revelation 12:9, where it says that old serpent, the devil, and that same serpent gave power to the beast in Revelation 13, this system is built on like a hydra type system. And the hydra is an old Greek mythological serpent with multiple heads. And if you cut one head off, it grows another. That's how Esau and the spirit of his legacy has been built upon. You cut one head off, man, he comes right back with a whole nother form of wickedness and idolatry and fornication and murder right after it. That's why when it's like, okay, you know what? Trump, Agent Orange, man, he gets out of it. If he makes it to 2028 in his legacy, he can't come back. But there's going to be another Hydra head that pops out that's going to be worse than him. Why can I say that? Because the trajectory of America is already going down. There is no other person that's going to be able to resurrect this thing and try to bring it back and say, okay, we're going to be. He already made the declaration he was going to make America great again. And he's failed at that and continuing to fail at that. There's not another Edomite head that's going to pop out and going to say, well, he couldn't do it. I'm going to do it. This man had already said he can do whatever he wants. He's exercising all executive orders and powers. He's, continually made a number of different remarks against the children of Israel when it comes down to who he doesn't like, who he wants to continually oppress. You understand what I'm saying? So all of those things he's already made declarations for. So his desire is he's impoverished, but we're going to return and build a desolate places. So When you see what happened with Slow Biden, his economy was crashing, everything was all jacked up. The first couple years, it was, everything was great. Why? Because he was pumping that money. He got the stimulus going. Stimulus checks was coming. He was, the scams was jumping off. Man, the PPP stuff was jumping off. The EDD scam. Niggas was out here just losing their mind with inflated dollars in their pockets, man. Vacationing, renting cars, going on trips, buying drugs, doing everything, flipping the money. You couldn't tell them that it was bad times, and but see, wasn't paying their rent. The rent moratorium was going on, so stacking up that money. I mean, you talk about the Roaring '20s. Remember, I did a lesson regarding the reflection of the Roaring '20s back in 1919 down to like 1929, 1930. Remember that time? Everybody was out dancing and having a good old time and doing the jig, and technologies was coming out and just coming off of the 1919 Spanish flu, and same way we was coming off of the 2019 plague. You couldn't tell nobody nothing. I mean, people was investing in the war bonds and the stocks, and you see all of these charlatans jumping out on the internet, life coaching. People's making money being your life coach, telling you how to use your money. They knew you got that little stimulus money, and hey man, send me this money for my new course, because I'm gonna teach you how to invest in this crypto and these stocks. And oh man, it was all good. Everybody was loving it, because Esau constantly said, we're gonna remember, and so Slow Biden said, we're going to build back better. And what happened? The Most High crashed that whole thing down. The economy got to failing and struggling. Gas prices went up. At least in California, there was gas prices $7, $8. Empty shelves in the grocery stores. Remember all of that? That was hard times. People was recognizing and saying, damn, it's bad, it's bad. To the point to where they just sacrificed everything and said, vote Trump in. He's gonna save us, man. He said he's gonna drain the swamp. He's gonna get the Epstein files out. He's gonna turn this thing back around, and he's a private interest, and he's showing how wicked, crooked Joe is, and vote him in. He's gonna save us. And he says it. Oh yeah, we're gonna make America great again and affordable again, and only within a year and a month of his service, he's already dealing with mass division, multiple wars, inflated dollars, a bubble bursting within the economy. They don't want to pump no money into the thing. So every time he says, oh, we're in a bad spot, we're going to build it back, we're going to get it together. What happened? Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. So every time they talk, notice the whole little tariff situation. That was supposed to be the big plan to get money flowing back into the economy. You're going to save America trillions of dollars, and we're going to tax all of these countries that was abusing us, and The divide within America, the Supreme Court said, we ain't with that. What you're doing is illegal, and no president has ever done this before. That's out, and you're gonna have to return. You're gonna have to refund over $180 billion to these particular companies. And what did he then jumped out and said, I ain't doing that. Matter of fact, I'm doubling down, and I'm gonna make it 15. All right, we're gonna get to it. I'm jumping. But everything that he attempts to do, remember he said, oh, we've got the board of peace. He just dumped $10 billion into that with NATO countries and everybody else talking about the board of peace. Meanwhile, he's talking about doing calculated strikes on Iran. Where's the peace at? Oh, okay. Is the peace going on over there with Ukraine and Russia yet? Are we still waiting on that? Oh, okay. Because Most High is throwing down every little idea that he comes with. Complete failures, man. The Lord said he's going to throw it down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. You know what a border is? The border is the beginning and the end of a landmass, right? So if you're just looking at when the Most High defines wickedness, he says everything begins and starts with Esau. You want to know about wickedness? That's the border right there. That's where you start. That's where it ends. But we're wrong for saying it. Hence, the entitlement of the show, Don't Shoot the Messenger. The border of wickedness, the people against whom Yahweh have indignation forever. The people. So I don't understand how we can all of a sudden make this particular calculation of saying, oh, Edom now, the Edomites now are worthy of salvation, and they're going to come in with us at a simultaneous, and they're going to be part of the new covenant. And I'm sorry. The Lord said, those people, he's got a righteous anger with forever. I don't see that change. The Lord said he changes not, if I'm correct, in Malachi the 3rd chapter. Yeah, do we need to see? Maybe we need a little reminder of that. Let me just see something real quick. I want to make sure I'm not wrong. Oh, okay. Hold on. Maybe this is the case. Malachi 3:6. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Numbers the 24th chapter, the Most High said he's not a man that he should lie. I mean, he's not going to put something out there that's irrelevant, erroneous. He's not going to put something out there that's quote unquote hyperbolic. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed. So, the Lord said it, he meant it. Regardless of how I feel about it, regardless of, my desires, what Pop says goes. And that's just what it is. Let's look at Ecclesiastes 10:19. A feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry. Yeah, so it's okay. We've got feast days coming up next weekend, most high permit. We all see it. We got the memorial of the destruction of Nicanor next Saturday evening. And then we have another memorial feast of Purim Sunday and Monday, right? Those are going to be glorious times. And for you Christians out there talking about them Israelites be drinking and what was Christ's first miracle? Oh, turning water to wine? Oh, okay. Was he being accused of being called an alleged wine bibber because he drank the wine? Oh, okay. I guess that's okay then. The Lord said the feast is made for laughter. Don't come to the feast with no doubtful, wicked spirit on you, and you just overwhelmed with your own problems. The Lord said that's the time that you leave all that stuff at the door. You come to the feast for mirth, gladness, edification, understanding, to glorify the Most High. Have a good time. And if you need a little wine to break the edge, need a little strong drink to break the edge, do that. But not in excess, in moderation. That's the key. And wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. So now that we're seeing America's having these money problems to the bill of damn near $38 trillion of debt and trillions of dollars in interest alone monthly, America's never going to get out of their problems. Never. But money answereth all things. So there's no answers for what's going to happen at the Most High with America, because they do not have the money to sustain themselves. The whole gig for the terror, man, that's out of here. And they're going to go back and forth on that for a while. Romans 15:4, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. So again, if we're reflecting off of the past of what happened with Rome, which America has patterned itself after, they received all the glory that Rome used to have. The dominance over the kingdoms, the tributes that they received, the slaves, everything else, the vast construction of buildings and monuments, agriculture, they received it all. So America's received vast glory in all of that. And like we brought out before, the 250-year anniversary of the so-called birthing of this nation will commence this summer, July 1776 to July 2026 is 250 years. By all estimations, most kingdoms have a 250-year run and then it's over with. So the downhill slope and trajectory of America is evident. So the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning. So we take note, we understand what happened to things in the past. Now we're seeing it reflected on America right now. It ain't looking good. But whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. That's where our faith is supposed to be in, within these scriptures, understanding and knowing patiently though. That's why we can't jump out the window and be like, man, it's over tomorrow, it's over this weekend. You know, we've gone on the jag trying to figure out when is this bombing going to happen with Iran. You know, they keep kicking the can down the road. So at this point, we don't know. I'm gonna play play a video, look at a couple articles. You know, now Agent Orange has put out some deadlines, but you know, his words change like the wind. So we don't know if he's even gonna stick to that. You know, he loves a taco, a good taco. So we gotta just, you know, patiently wait and endure for the judgment to happen. Let's look at Sirach 30 and verse 4. Though his father died, yet he is though he were not dead. So looking at this in the spirit, you know, obviously this is the glory of a man who has a progeny underneath of him. He's got sons that carry on his name, his legacy. You know, his spirit carries on through his children, right? Look at it from the same perspective. The same principle applies when you're dealing with kingdoms, when you're dealing with, you know, when you hear the scriptures speak about the daughter of Babylon, speaking about America, right? This is what the same principle should be understood. So, though his father died, well, who is America's father? Oh, Rome. Yet he is as though he were not dead. Why? Because America has taken on the attributes and the spirit of Rome, the spirit of Sodom, the spirit of Egypt. You dig what I'm saying? Like these are all that America, that's why this place is a land of bastardization, because it's got multiple daddies. You know, I know they say, well, bastard means you don't know who your father is. No, just look at it in the spirit. This is a offspring of harlotry. And that ain't the true definition of a bastard, right? When you're really looking at it through the scriptural lens. It ain't somebody who don't know who their daddy is. All right. America, that's why I said this is the mother of harlots, man, because it's got multiple daddies. Multiple daddies. And they're all gone, but they all live through America. Yet he is though he were not dead, for he hath left one behind that is like himself. So if America is just like Rome, just like Egypt, just like Sodom, what was the end result of all those kingdoms? Yeah, you guessed it. They all been destroyed. They all been destroyed. Psalms 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? You see them raging online, raging through interviews, and all of them are now divided. All of them are tripping. All of them are raging. They're raging in Minnesota. They're raging in LA. They're raging all throughout the country against ICE, you know, all this other stuff. Like, this is what's going down. And the people are imagining a vain thing. Why? Because they're trusting in oppression, trusting in America, trusting in the presidency, trusting in propaganda, trusting in bots and AI to lead them and guide them and help. This is really what's going down. Verse 2, the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together. Yeah, they've had multiple councils. The Davos meetings, Bilderberg meetings, these peace, so-called peace board council meetings. They're having all kind of secret and evil councils. And the Lord said they're taking counsel together, all for what? To go against what the Most High has already established. Thinking they're going to extend their kingdoms, having secret pacts and covenant agreements with each other, how they continually destroy, you know, the Lord's people, imposing even more death and destruction and oppression upon them. How they can sit back and have these particular meetings, man, covering up PDF files, you know, exposing demonic cannibal demons, man, that's running the damn earth and running the banking system and running whole kingdoms with flattering titles like prince and president and executive before their names, getting found out that they've, been putting their hand in the cookie jar, the proverbial cookie jar. You understand what I'm saying? They're taking all of these particular counsels against Yahweh and against his anointed. Lest anybody think that this particular system is built up to save and help and, lift up and exalt the Lord's people, blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics. There's some more Jim Jones Kool-Aid waiting for you. Take a good gulp if you think this place is for you, man. And against his anointing, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. They want to be broken free from any type of righteousness, any type of biblical instruction. They don't want to be subjected to being subject to the power of the Most High and the ruling of the anointed over them. They ain't with it. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. That's what's happening. The Most High is laughing at them, sitting back arguing and talking about, now Trump is out here flaming up the Supreme Court and talking crazy and talking about they've been infiltrated and the Supreme Court saying he's a dictator. And you just hear it, and it's just so funny. We sit back, and that's why the Lord said he's laughing too. The Most High is the one in control of all of this. Look, even in let me get one more tab open real quick. Sirach 10. And I think I want 9. No, 8. We're gonna read 7 and 8. Pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. So there's no question. The Agent Orange is one of the most proud, boastful men in leadership, and he's got control of the wheel in regards to the whole entire earth, because he sits in the throne of iniquity. He sits in the throne of the mother of harlots and Babylon the Great, so forth and so on, that all nations have subjected themselves to, and he knows it. That's what's so dangerous. He knows it. So his powerful boast, man, he's got no problem trolling and speaking. We're gonna see, man, this old coon sister, man, talking about it, how much she loves Trump because he keeps it real. He speaks his mind. I'm sure y'all seen it, but I'm gonna have to flame her butt up too today, because that was disgusting. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just hold tight. Hold tight. Verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. That's law. That's the Most High. The Most High said that if a kingdom is involved in any of the above, unrighteous dealings, injuries, or riches that got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. This kingdom will be translated back into the hands and be ruled by Christ, and the elect is going to rule over all these dang heathen. And Israel is going to be put back in a place of rulership, and righteousness is going to be instilled back in the earth, man. Everybody's waiting on it. The animals, the earth, the nations, they all want it. One more in Psalms 21:11. It says, for they intended evil against thee. They imagine a mischievous device which they are not able to perform. Yeah, so he's trying to siphon off money and do pump and dump schemes with these crypto. And I showed y'all how much money, man, the Trump family alone has made damn near $1 billion since he's been in office. That's a year and a month, 13 months. He didn't cash in and still got some more money to go. Insider trade, all kind of white collar crimes going on, man. Mischievous devices going on, man. All this stuff, lying about the drug wars, the reason why we need to get Venezuela, we need to go. The tariffs that he's putting on China and Canada, he said that's because of drugs. Knowing that that's a goddamn lie, man. But this is what he does, which they're not able to perform. So, Here comes the Supreme Court says, you can't do that. No, we're going to stand in the way. That's out of here. You're telling Iran that they can't have access to nuclear power, advanced technology, so forth and so on, man, because they're fearful that they're gonna make a bomb. They probably will make a bomb, and they probably already got them because they're saying, "Look, we ain't gonna get duped, and we ain't gonna get false flagged and get drug into something that we've seen you do to multiple nations before us." Yeah, we're gonna make sure that we're secure. You telling them they can't have nothing? The small hat GMO uh, community squatting and occupying our land. They can have it all, and they taking direction from America, taking direction from them. They get all the cards. They got the aces, the kings, the queens, the jacks. You know, you're gonna give Iran like, man, you got a 10 of diamonds and a couple spades, and that's about it. You know, and you think they're gonna take that? No. But the Lord said everything they keep putting out there, man, they're not gonna be able to perform. Oh, we settle on this peace deal or else. Iran's already been telling them no. But we're gonna see. Sometimes they end up buckling. They some backdoor deals jumping off, man. They line the pockets of some of these politicians, but ultimately they want regime change. And they've been told, like, we may acquiesce to the nuclear power deal. We might have to, make a little adjustments there, but we're not doing a regime change. And if that's your red line, you might as well start arming up. That's why America's been over there setting up shop. Because they've already gotten the feedback from Iran saying we're not doing a regime change like you do everybody else. We might be open to talking about some of these other demands that you're making, but other than that, Let's see where we at, y'all. So Trump discussed a timeline for Iran strikes, including as soon as this weekend, but no decision yet. That would have been this particular weekend right now. That obviously hasn't happened as of yet. We would have expected it last night or today, because we know historically Agent Orange loves to do some bombings and doing some secretive strikes on the Sabbath. So that ain't happened, right? But they said no decision as of yet. I've seen him talk about 10 days, 15 days. I've seen reports saying he's going to give them till after Ramadan, which would be the end of March. We don't know. I mean, that's part of the confusion. That's part of the propaganda. That's part of, the misinformation that gets thrown out there, because you don't want your enemy knowing every damn thing. Oh yeah, we're going to bomb them on February 28th. Of course, they're going to get prepared and get known. So you throw out all kind of damn numbers. 10 days, 2 days, But we don't know. He's a born liar, according to Psalm 58. As soon as he be estranged from the womb, he comes out speaking lies. So let's take it with a grain of salt. We don't know. Most High willing that it happens, because that only leads us closer to knowing that the prophecies and the judgments of the Most High are true, and the coming glory of Hamashiach Yahweh and the elect and the children of Israel is soon to come. Washington, top national security officials have told President Trump the military is ready for potential strikes on Iran as soon as Saturday, but the timeline for any action is likely to extend beyond this weekend, sources familiar with the discussions told the CBS News. So they're telling them, Mr. President, we'll be ready this weekend if you want to hit the button. And he's saying, hold on, I'm trying to get these tariff situations taken care of. I got other problems jumping off right now. I'm trying to get ICE up out of these particular and withdraw the National Guard because they breathing down my neck about this. I got midterms coming up. I ain't trying to look bad. I want to make sure we don't lose the House. So I don't want to push a panic button on the war just yet, because he knows a lot of people ain't riding with him on this war thing. So in the interest of his pride and arrogancy and him wanting to be glorified and want to still maintain power within the House, he's going to have to bend a little bit. So notice we're dealing with time now. 2 Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. So the Most High tells us we're supposed to watch time. Here we're seeing Agent Orange even putting out timelines on when he expects to take action against Iran. So we're measuring the time right now. Okay. That's what we're doing when we see, these particular headlines. He's putting out time frames. He's saying, I'm gonna give him to this, that, and the third. Then we're gonna see. You know. Let me get back here. And I'm gonna let him say it. He can say it better than I can.
Right now, new on the night team to the Middle East, where the United States continues its military buildup. President Donald Trump pressuring Iran today to agree to a nuclear weapons pact or face serious consequences. Here's ABC's Jacqueline Lee with more on the tension.
President Trump issuing an ultimatum to Iran.
They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You can't have peace in the Middle East if they have a nuclear weapon.
See, he's narrowing it down just to a weapon. They're saying they can't have access to nuclear power, period. That means that they can't have access to nuclear power for generators, for energy, for technology, it ain't just about the weapons, but he's trying to make it seem like all this is about is we can't make a bomb. And America is trying to prevent us from being able to make a bomb because they're going to bomb Israel. So for the dumbed down person, they're going to think, well, yeah, we gotta stop them from doing that. It ain't just that. They're concerned with if they're able to get access to nuclear power, that they could use that to create a weapon.
Warning it has at most 15 days to make a deal on the nuclear weapons pact or, quote, bad things will happen.
We're going to get a deal one way or the other. We're either going to get a deal or it's going to be unfortunate for them.
This as the president orders a massive buildup of firepower in the Middle East, with more than 100 cargo planes, refueling tankers, and fighter jets headed to the region. Sources familiar with the planning tell ABC News the president is considering options from a limited strike that would enhance the U.S. negotiating position to larger strikes on military, government, or nuclear targets. The world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, and 4 destroyers also headed to the region. The destroyers have anti-missile systems and tomahawks capable of striking targets more than 1,000 miles away. This firepower joins the USS Abraham Lincoln strike group already in the region, with around 35,000 troops. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And the president has hinted at a desire for a regime change in Iran. However, he has not said what precisely his objectives would be. And
so there you have it. He says, hey, if you don't do what I said, very bad things are going to happen. One way or the other, they're going to get what they want. And that's the results of America imposing their will and being a quote unquote bully. You understand what I'm saying? To try to make sure that they get what they want when they want it. And if they don't get it the easy way, they get it the hard way. Joel 3, you saw what was happening. 4 destroyer ships getting sent out there, multiple airline jets getting sent out there, troops already out there. Joel 3, verse 9 and 10, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So we're seeing a combination of nations not only showing off their weapons, right? We see every year North Korea's flexing their muscle, Japan be doing this, do their thing, China be always assembling, Russia's already been showing what they got going on, America's been flexing. Now we're seeing them actually coming together, not just flexing, but in preparation for war. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. And you say all of Israel. Israel ain't supposed to be gathered. Hey, we got to go to war. The country's at stake. You sit your black butt down. Let the heathen rage. Let the heathen go at it. Let the heathen destroy themselves and cannibalize themselves. You sit your butt on the sideline and fear the Most High, keep the commandments, and watch the show, and pray that you're the elect, that you get delivered up out of here when the ish hits the fan. and gather yourselves together round about thither, because thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. So we're seeing all this taking place, man. Prophetically, this is right on time.
Right now, new on
U.S. gathers the most air power in the Mideast since the 2003 Iraq invasion. Remember that. The invasion in Iraq, you had Desert Storm. You know, America's no strangers to the territory, no strangers to going over there and getting busy. They're gathering together. They're preparing for war. So why are we not surprised? Because the Bible told us this is what's going to end up happening. The Valley of Jehoshaphat, the ultimate judgment, World War III, all these things are getting ready to go down. Revelation 16 talking about the Euphrates drying up so the kings of the east can march forward, you know, and prepare for war. This is all happening. U.S. gathers the most air power in the Mideast since 2003 Iraq invasion. The U.S. is ready to strike Iran, but President Trump hasn't yet decided to do so. Yeah, you know, he's crunching on a taco right now. He's got a number of things to consider before he goes ahead and does what he said he wants to do. So we're going to see. They just said 15 days. That's 2 weeks from now. Could be sooner. Could be later. One thing for sure, two things for certain, man. He has dropped the bomb over there before, and they did a strike last summer on a nuclear facility. Now, notice they said it was going to be tactical strikes, you know, limited strikes to get their attention, to sway the, you know, the pendulum of influence and power, and hoping that they just gonna buckle and say, okay, we thought you was bluffing. All right, we'll give you what you want. We're gonna see, because Iran is saying, nah, they ain't having it. And if you leave it to Russia, China, and the affiliated nations with Iran, they're sitting back saying, we're not with what America's doing either. Bomb on the little homie, and we're gonna see what happens. See what happens. That's the stance that, you know, Russia's taking. China's already, you know, expressed their displeasure. This could be the match that lights the candle. We're gonna see. Exercise of escalation. Iran closes airspace ahead of extensive missile launches. So Iran is assembling, beating their plowshares into weapons now. They're launching off, exercise drills. Now they're saying, oh, America's assembling, America's moving in, America's flexing. Well, let's let them know that we do have some weapons over here, and we're going to test them out just in case y'all want to get busy. Iran warned pilots to avoid broad areas of its airspace following weeks of military exercises amid rising tensions. Why are they practicing? Why are they doing exercises? Because obviously they feel the threat is coming close to them. As the U.S. imposed sanctions over the violent suppression of protests in Tehran, reported its foreign minister spoke with his Saudi counterpart about development. So yeah, they tried to do it the political way. You feel me? Let's go ahead and get some insurgency going on. Let's get some seditious behavior going on over there. Let's fund and let's do the political motivations to get the protests and all that jumping off. They did that. They had a couple weeks, man. They said, man, they had Mossad agents over there, man, influencing the rioters over there in Iran. They had, the small hat, and the Mossad is a small hat CIA essentially. The GMO armies is over there influencing them, telling them, yeah, turn up. America's over there, giving them more promotion. Remember, Trump was saying, make Iran great again, the MAGA movement. All of you mess with the protesters, we're going to do something about it. I got your back. Remember all that? They tried it that way to get a regime change. They tried to get Iran to buckle. Iran was like, oh, really? That don't work over here. Matter of fact, we're going to start stringing up anybody who's riding up against us, and we're going to put your butt to death. Open street lynchings, whatever. And that calmed down real quick, especially once the Iranians said, well, where's the help at? Where's the backup? I thought Trump said he gonna get it. And didn't nothing happen? Oh, that's what happens when you trust your enemy. That's what happens when you trust in an oppression. They realize that this dude ain't got our back, man. Damn it. We might as well go ahead and sit down. But something's getting ready to happen to us. So Iran's getting ready, right? Yeah, that's right. Same thing in Libya. Absolutely. People don't get they don't get it, man, until it's too late. Now check this out. White House wants to reprieve in spy powers fight that is splitting the GOP. There's another divide. What is this about? You've got Stephen Miller, who's another mouthpiece of the White House, who's a dog whisperer, who's in Trump's ear, helping to influence him. He says that he wants to open up new surveillance authorities, warrantless surveillance, spying on foreign nations and peoples. Now, why is this important? Because, of course, they're going to always say, oh, well, it's about these foreign nations with a lot of people. We got to make sure that we're monitoring, have warrantless wiretaps and everything else on them. How long before that turns domestic, the same way that they did with the ICE? Okay, here we go. Stephen Miller, the influential senior White House domestic policy advisor, is a leading advocate within the administration for extending the program that lets the government collect the data of non-citizens abroad without a warrant. So they're saying, we ain't doing it to citizens. Y'all can calm down. Meanwhile, we know Palantir and all these other, big tech organizations is gathering and collecting information all day. Every time that you got an app or you get it, you got phones that's already pre-installed with all these damn apps on there. Remember, a lot of these apps that you download, they may tell you that you got to accept the agreements and all this other stuff. And ain't nobody trying to read 1,000-word document about what you're giving access to. But they already got pre-installed apps all on your phone, probably like 20, 30 of them. And then you sit back saying, okay, no problem. I'm going to turn off a microphone, turn off this, turn off that. And then as soon as you get to talking about something, you got an ad popping up on your YouTube, ad popping up on your internet searches and all. You say, damn, I was just talking about that. How the hell they know? Because they're already spying, listening. Bots is already data collecting. Oh, but we're not listening to everything. We just want, give me a damn break. So citizen data collection is already jumping off. It's just whatever they decide to use, what they don't want to use. That's why, police got to get warrants to seize your phone records and your text messages and everything else. Because it's already being collected. All they need to do is just make sure that they got access to grab it. But now they're saying, oh, no, this is for non-citizens. Don't worry. It's okay. We're watching all of the bad guys who got problems with America. Well, how many times have they been pushing about the domestic so-called terrorists here? How many times have they been talking about how there's enemies within? Even Trump said that. There's an enemy within. He was talking about, he's talking about the swamp. He's talking about the Democrats over there. Okay. As much as they keep shape-shifting the language regarding who's for, who's with, and who's not, that's why they got the NSPM7 and everything else. Because it's only a matter of time before they say, oh, you're anti-US, you're anti-whatever. And now we got to watch you too. So if they get this opened up and extended, know that it's going to turn onto us too. That's how they're going to create the police state. They already got the cameras, they got the mics, they got it all over the place. I shared a story with y'all last week. I've been in parking lots, been in restaurants. They popping in. Is everything okay? We're watching. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the hell? Cameras, microphones in every place. Continuing on. So the data collection of non-citizens abroad without warrant, according to two of the five people. One of the people said that Miller sees the spying statute under Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, as critical to a variety of homeland security admissions. And this is where they had to open up the door from 9/11, the Patriot Act, and all that other stuff. And believe whatever you want to believe, but there's plenty conspiracy regarding who was behind 9/11. What was the objective after that? All we got to deal with what the fallout is. The fallout is the Patriot Act and all of the Homeland Security and TSA and everything else comes from that, and monitoring and NSA, enhancing their capabilities of monitoring and recording and everything else. The deed is done. Now you guys got to deal with it. Same thing with the 2019 plague that ran rampant for 3 years, changed everybody's lives. Said, "Oh, it's a new normal." People running around here, super spreaders with pokes in their arms and wondering why they're getting heart issues and all kind of problems and being unalive suddenly, as they called it. And now the damage is done. They move on to the next thing. The behind-the-scenes push comes as Congress barrels towards an April 20th deadline to reauthorize Section 702, which is itself a perennial source of intra-party tension for the GOP. Even as some Hill Republicans believe that Trump supports a clean extension, others caution there are still 2 months to go and things will remain in flux until the president weighs in publicly, underscoring the fraught nature of the discussion. So in other words, they want to extend warrantless data collection of so-called non-citizens. That's going to extend over to us. You just got to see what's going on. There's a divide and a split regarding that, but we're going to see what ends up happening with that. Don't be surprised, because if they get a little war lit, he's already laid down the visa restrictions for, I think it was, how many countries? 18 or more than that countries with visa restrictions, telling people they can't come over here with their visas no more. So he's already dividing the line, saying who can and can't come up in here. So anybody that's got ties to any of these particular nations, that warrantless data collection with any ties that they got to family, friends, business partners, whatever here in America, all that's going to get recorded. Everybody watching everybody now, and that's what it is. Now here's what we talked about earlier. Trump explodes. After conservative Supreme Court strikes down his Liberation Day tariffs that sparked global trade war as Wall Street celebrates a $170 billion decision. See the divide, man? They over here celebrating happy. Trump over here hot. So I guess you can forget about that $2,000 derivative stimulus that he was promising, because they got a lot of money from the tariffs. Trillions and trillions. That's out of here. Another broken promise, another lie. President Donald Trump fumed on Friday after the Supreme Court made the extraordinary move of ruling against his widespread tariff policy. Did he really do it, or did the Most High do it? The Most High said they're going to build, he's going to tear down. That ain't happening. You understand? Trump was meeting with members of the National Governors Association when the ruling came down and called it a disgrace, according to CNN. At the same time, Wall Street celebrated as the stock market spiked after the tariff decision came down. So all those holders in the stock market, because they knew that was going to be one of the catalysts that popped the balloon and the stocks end up crashing and having a real issue. So there's a divide between the legal system, the financial system. America is finished, man. Look at this. And this the vanity, this the pride that he speaks on. I can destroy the country. Trump's rant after the Supreme Court strikes down his key policy. See the pride? See, this is the day. This is why America is going to be finished, because he's sitting in the White House saying, "Oh, I can do what I want to do." In this particular article, he said, "I can do what I want. I can do anything I want." Remember, he already said, "Ain't nothing that can stop him except himself." Here's a quote from what he said. Speaking about the Supreme Court justice, "They're just fools and lapdogs for the rhinos, Republican in name only, and radical left Democrats, and not that this should have anything to do with it. Very unpatriotic and disloyal to the Constitution," he wrote on Truth Social. "It is my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would think, but obnoxious, ignorant, and loud." Two of the justices who voted against the president, Neil Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett were appointed by him. In a press conference, he spoke of his claimed powers as president. I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country, Trump said. Look at this dude, man. I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. Keep that in mind. Because if he don't get his way like a spoiled brat, man, he just destroys the whole game. So this may give him more incentive to say, but you know what? The hell with it, man. Bombs away. Let's get it cracking. If I can't get what I want, if my plan ain't gonna work, if it's constant opposition of every little plan and plot that I got, then forget it. Throw the baby out with the bathwater, man. Let's get it going. So he said, I can destroy the country. Trump said, I'm allowed to impose a foreign destroying embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. In a bizarre explanation, Trump said he was very modest in my ask of other countries. I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court. He said, I wanted to be a good boy. This dude said he didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court. He was very modest. Didn't he say 100% tariffs was going to come down on anybody in NATO that supported, that went against him with Greenland? Didn't he say he was going to hit China with 100% tariffs and all that? Didn't he tell Canada, I'm going to light you up with tariffs too. You might become the 52nd country. We're going to take over. Huh? What's he talking about? Modest. All right. Let's go. So what did he do? He doubled down and said, okay, well, you struck down the tariffs. He came back and said, okay, well, I'm putting 10% tariffs on everybody. You know, he pulled Alonzo from Training Day. I'm putting cases on all you mother. Remember that? Pelican Bay shoe program. I'm putting cases on all you mother. Remember that? So he doubled it after they struck down the first tariff deal. He said, okay, well, I'm putting 10% tariffs on everybody. They struck that down. He doubled back and said, well, forget 10, 15 then. So this is how we see it. It's going to be a political theater. It's going to be a whole bunch of madness. We're going to see how long until, you got companies sitting back saying, hey, you owe us $185 billion. Where's our money at? And he's going to say, I can do whatever I want. Good luck, I'm trying to collect. That money's spent. So he's already, within 24 hours, he went from he said, well, okay, well, I'm going to do 10%. They didn't shut that down. Now he said today, 15%. So he's just constantly kicking and moving the goalposts, man. President Trump on Saturday said he would increase global tariffs to 15% from 10% one day after the Supreme Court struck down his, quote, reciprocal tariffs. The new tariffs will be effective immediately, Trump said in a Truth Social post. The Supreme Court, they're going to shoot that down. This is going to be a bunch of drama, man. But I love it because this is only showing more of the division of America, more of the eventual problems that this place is going to incur when it comes down to the successes of this place. Not happening. Now, this is an X post from a cat named Kim.com. He was an old tech head. I think he had created a technology about what was it called? Mega Upload, where a lot of piracy was going on back in the early 2000s. He ended up catching a little case, but he got off. But anyway, he's close in the tech sector, man, and he knows a lot of these hackers and all of that. He got word that Palantir, the surveillance arm of America, got hacked. And he made this particular post on X. Look, been viewed 9 million times as of February 15th. Palantir was allegedly hacked, so he's saying allegedly, he's trying to keep it legal. An AI agent was used to gain super user access, and here's what the hackers allegedly found. Peter Thiel and Alex Karp commit mass surveillance of world leaders and titans of the industry on a massive scale. Sounds familiar? Peter Thiel was rubbing elbows with Epstein. Peter Thiel, known sodomite, one of the co-founders of Palantir, the surveillance arm of America, the AI surveillance arm, right? This is the same cat, man, that when he got asked should humans live, and he paused for a long time. I remember I played that interview, and he's supposedly a Christian, man. Good Lord. These are the ones who's running the show. So they are allegedly committing mass surveillance of world leaders and titans of the industry on a massive scale. So they're collecting all this information, collecting all this data for blackmailing purposes. They have thousands of hours of transcribed and searchable conversations with Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Elon Musk. They backdoored the devices, cars, and jets of world leaders and accumulated the biggest archive of blackmail material. And this is important too, because I got an article I'm going to show y'all in a little bit. How and why they use these particular technologies and who these individuals are that's running this stuff, man, is diabolical. Palantir is creating nuclear and bioweapon capabilities for Ukraine and is working closely with the CIA to defeat Russia. They believe they are 1 year away. They plan to achieve this by keeping Russia busy with meaningless peace negotiations. Palantir is responsible for the majority of Palestinian deaths in Gaza. They have developed the AI targeting for Israel. Palantir is an arm of the CIA, and all data from international clients is copied into a CIA spy cloud. Palantir has become the most dangerous company in the world. If you work there, you have the right to know that this is what Palantir AI is used for without your knowledge. The Palantir data the hackers allegedly gathered will be given to Russia and or China. I was chosen as a trusted partner for this publication. I'm not involved in the Palantir hack, and I don't know who the hackers I don't know the hackers, but I do know that the hack happened. Good Lord, say that 3 times. So take this for what you will, but they're saying Palantir got hacked by an AI agent used by some hackers. They collected all the information. They're saying this is what Palantir is up to on the low. High level espionage, high level blackmail that they're going to use to force wars with nations, do regime changes, all that stuff, man. And it's the same thing that America is using this stuff for too. But not only they're going to be surveilling it and monitoring everything that we're doing, but they're using it against other nations too to get them in their pocket. So that's a whole nother thing. I'm only going to lightly touch on the Epstein stuff. I'm sure people are kind of nauseated with what's going on with this situation, but it is pretty revealing, man, that the type of demonic forces, when you that old acronym of America, the USA under Satan's authority, holds true even more. Like I made reference to earlier, Revelation 13 says that Satan is going to give power unto the beast, right? And that's America. So it is under Satan's authority. And then you have his agents. In Revelation 12, it says that Satan and his angels is going to make war with Michael and so forth and so on. The angels are the agents that Satan uses. Essentially, Esau, his armies, his kingdom, so forth and so on, they're all under this particular authority, man. And you see information coming out. Epstein was financing and had business with the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. I mean, high-level demonic families, man, that, are notorious names that ring bells in so-called conspiracy circles, let alone world leaders and so forth and so on, right? This guy was high level, and all of the things that we're seeing and hearing about that was associated with him and all those who knew him in these particular parties, from PDF file activities, cannibalism, unalivings, coercion, blackmail, you name it. There was no bounds of evils that wasn't going on with this dude and those that was affiliated with him. And then you get these files that Agent Orange was priding himself on, saying, well, as soon as I get in, we're getting those files out and prosecution is on the way. I'm going to get these guys. Until they said, sir, you know your name is in there like over 1 million times. Oh, hold on on that. I thought we cleared that up. So as they've been slowly but surely taking their time, releasing a little bit at a time, that's giving them enough time to redact and black out names and remove him. And, so now you see every time he pops out speaking on it, I've been exonerated. Not me. They gave him time to try to clear his name. That's what it is. DOJ removed a record of multiple FBI interviews with underage Trump accuser. Epstein data shows the FBI spoke at least 4 times with a woman who credibly accused Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was a minor. Epstein files show the document is no longer accessible on the DOJ website. I wonder why. And that was the one where they said she was like 14 with knee pads on, allegedly servicing him, and she bit down and he slapped her. This is all quote unquote alleged, But why is it removed now? Why did they take that detail out? Sunday, I reported the FBI interviewed a victim who accused President Donald Trump of sexually and violently assaulting her when she was 13 to 15 years old. I also reported that some of the Justice Department case files for this woman who later sued and reportedly received a settlement. So, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's a duck. Why are you settling? Why are you paying her off if she's a liar? She's some anonymous source. Nobody knows who she is. This is made up. This got added into the file. Hold on. They said that this woman actually sued and got a settlement from the Epstein estate for sexual abuse allegations in the same time frame appeared to be missing from the government's publicly searchable Epstein database. Mind you, remember, Epstein got locked up in 2008 for sexual misconduct with minors and some more stuff. So where there's smoke, there's fire. And now you got a female man who came out and sued, won a settlement, and saying, so that means her information clearly was credible enough to where they said, man, pay her off so she don't say nothing else, man. Get her out of our hairs. And now they got 4 interviews with the FBI with her that involve Agent Orange's name, and they said, get rid of that. And he's running around, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I've been exonerated. I'm clean. I'm the one that snitched on him. Now, in the criminal underworld, man, a snitch is somebody who 9 times out of 10, not all the time, because there's a balance between a civilian and a person who's actually involved in crime. If a civilian tells on you that they're not a criminal, they can't snitch on you. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're reporting a crime. They got robbed. Something happened. Okay, cool. If you're the one involved with a co-defendant, co-conspirator, and you get caught and you say, hey, the bodies are buried over there. He's got the key. He did it all. Get him. You essentially are a snitch, but that doesn't mean that you didn't have your hands in the cookie jar too. Agent Orange is running around saying, I'm the one that cut him off. I'm the one that told everybody. Everybody knew what was going on. I'm the one. Cutting your nose off to spite your face. And he's glorifying, saying he's the one that got the investigation going. And I believe in some of them emails too. Epstein was saying, man, how he turned his back on him and cut him off. And, he didn't like how he used to hang out with him. And now he did this, that, and the third and got eyes on him. Yeah, so Trump did turn snitch. But that don't mean he wasn't involved. Continuing on, it says, however, I found a DOJ record showing that the FBI did not just interview this woman once. The FBI interviewed this woman who claimed that Trump forced her to give him fellatio. I'm gonna try to keep it clean. I don't know how YouTube reacts with this stuff. When she was in her early teens, then punched her in the head after she bit his genitals and kicked her out at least 4 times. All right. Yeah, I'm sure y'all heard some of this stuff, but the funny thing is why are they removing, deleting, redacting all this information? We know what that's about. I said last week, ain't nobody gonna get arrested. Nobody's gonna get hurt. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Well, at least in America. Let's put it like that. Prince Andrew, he's taking a fall. He's pretty much taking a fall for everybody. They chose him to be the sacrificial lamb or the goat or the damn dog, I guess, whatever. He's the one that everybody gonna look at and say, "Hey, look, he's the wicked one." They done took his prince title from him. Now they after him. Well, okay, at least the UK man is following up, and they saying we on his head because he got arrested on his born day for misconduct and corruption, utilizing in the what they say in the public office. And I believe they said it had something to do with him communicating with emails, through the Epstein stuff or whatever. They lock his butt up. So there is a little justice going on for them, but they ain't touching nothing over here. Andrew arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office as King says law must take its course. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has been arrested and is in custody on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Read the police statement in full. King Charles says he learned with the deepest concern of Andrew's arrest, adding, quote, "The law must take its course." Neither he nor Buckingham Palace were informed in advance of the arrest. The BBC understands police are carrying out searches of address in Berkshire and Norfolk, as well as the Royal Lodge in Windsor, Great Park, where Andrew lived until recently. So I stand corrected. Somebody did get arrested. Okay, I said, man, the statute of limitations, but the laws ain't the same everywhere. That's why you ain't seen nobody getting caught up over here. They ain't prosecuting, they redacting, they protecting, they're covering up. But the UK said, no, we already got this guy dead to rights, photos, everything else. He didn't already cop the plea. We might as well make him the damn, the distractionary downfall for everything. They figured if you take out Epstein, okay, maybe that'll go away. It didn't go away. Files come out, everything else. Okay, well, we got to do something. Hey, Andrew, we already got him, man. So take him down. He said, wait, I can't believe this. We all were part of this. Oh, how dare you? Yeah, you're going to take the fall for everybody, man. Hopefully this is going to, this is going to make it cool and everybody's going to say, okay, for somebody went down at least. People ain't going to rest with that. But he's going to be the example made, You got the Clintons. You waiting for them to come clean. They got they're supposed to testify. We're gonna see what that is. As of right now, one down. Whole countries and people gotta go. Now let's see what Agent Orange said about this, man. How sad is he about what happened?
I got a question about something big overseas today. The former Prince Andrew arrested by the police there, related to something with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you think people in this country at some point, associates of Jeffrey Epstein, will wind up in handcuffs too?
Well, I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated. That's very nice. I can actually speak about it very nicely. I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family.
You see him? This maniac says he can speak on it. He's an expert. First thing he want to do is cover his own ass. I've been exonerated. Let me make sure I can cover my own. Yeah, I'm exonerated. You can't talk about me. But he says it's very sad, very sad. Rather than taking a strong stance and saying, I'm glad justice is being served. This guy was sick. I hope he gets punished to the full extent of the law. My sympathies go out to any victims. But, he could have said that. What you sad for? One of your homies got taken down? It's very sad. It's a shame. I'm an expert on it. Why are you sad? Because he got arrested. That means you have a sympathetic ear. You're in an emotional downturn because something happened to somebody you feel as though is undeserving. What are you sad about, man? That lets you know how these demons run in packs, man. He's sitting back saying it's a sad thing. Very sad. When somebody passes away, you said, man, it's a sad day today, man. He got taken too soon from us. There's no outrage. There's no voice of reason as far as justice is concerned. You know, this guy's a demon, man. Good Lord. I'm gonna let it play.
Into something with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you think people in this country at some point, associates of Jeffrey Epstein, will wind up in handcuffs too?
Well, you know, I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated. That's very nice. I can actually speak about it very nicely. I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's a very, very sad. To me, it's a very sad thing. When I see that, it's a very sad thing to see it and to see what's going on with his brother, who's obviously coming to our country very soon, and he's a fantastic man, king. So I think it's a very sad thing. It's really interesting because nobody used to speak about Epstein when he was alive, but now they speak. But I'm the one that can talk about it because I've been totally exonerated. I did nothing. In fact, the opposite. He was against me. He was fighting me in the election, which I just found out through the last 3 million pages of documents. Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
I got a question.
See, and that's what's so funny is he's so worried about his own reputation. He didn't ask him about what did he think what was happening with him. You know, he's so quick. It's almost like, man, you only defend yourself when you're guilty. You understand what I'm saying? Like they didn't ask him anything about him. They asked him, what do you think about the Prince Andrew arrest and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, I can speak on it because I'm an expert and, you know, because I've been exonerated. You know, I didn't do anything. So I feel as though I can speak on, huh? And then double back and said it all within a minute. Yeah, because I didn't do anything. You know, make sure you know I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Nobody asked you what you did. And then he's relating himself, talking about how great a King Charles is, or whatever he wants to call himself. Do you know that Prince Charles or King Charles now has said that he's a descendant of Vlad the Impaler? And in the movies, whatever, Vlad the Impaler is Dracula, a drinker of blood. Yeah, look it up. He says there's a clip on YouTube where he says he's a descendant of Vlad the Impaler, Dracula, Count Dracula. And then you hear about these files where they bloodletting and drinking blood and eating babies and beef jerky, you know. I was very sad. We lost one of the good ones. These damn demons, man, is wicked as hell, man. Good Lord. Yeah, he said, what's he an expert on exactly? For real. Yeah, he's an expert on the whole situation, man. I mean, these dudes, man, is wicked as all outdoors, man. Very sad day that one of the PDF files got taken off, right? Now I'm gonna get on Mama right here. Auntie she gotta get it. She gotta get it, man. She's out here bumping her gums, talking about get off the man's back, how much she loves Agent Orange, man. Hold on. Let me let her get a little bit off.
Enjoy 24-hour access at most Planet Fitness clubs. $1 down, $15 a month. Deal ends February 27th.
Our people got a lot of problems.
Discover your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino in Temecula.
Look at it. You had to pause, man. Don't get too close, nigga. Don't get too close. Don't get too close. Hold on. This is for the public. Now, DC grandmother who lost her grandson to violence defends Trump. Get off the man's back. All right. Let me let her.
I like her.
Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real, just like grandma.
Just like grandma. Keep it real. All right, hold on, man. I'm gonna set the stage because this is a shame. No. I'm gonna let her bury herself. First mistake that she made, man, sitting up here embracing this demon, talking about I like her, and then she said I like him too. And she get on this whole emotional sermon. She's getting ready to get out.
I like her.
I like
him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real, just like grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God.
Mind you, this is him, you know, picking out selective coons to speak at his little half-ass Black History Month dedication, right? And here she is, she getting ready to go bump her guns about why she liked Trump and what he did for her.
For this president, I am filled.
The sisters, cover your ears if you're sensitive to this. This is why you don't give women no damn platform. This is why the Most High said a woman cannot teach. She's getting ready to go. Now that she got the mic, she finna go act the damn fool and start preaching and thinking this is my moment to shine and bumping her gums with no humility, no meekness, no nothing. And then she's gonna be speaking out of pocket, talking about she thank God for this president. You already lost by saying that. I wouldn't doubt she getting a little bread, man.
Oh, my cup runneth over.
Look at
this president.
Hold on.
Appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how.
She can trust him. The Bible said, never trust thy enemy. Sirach 12:10. She says she can trust him though. All right.
He feeling what he think. Thank God for this president.
Same president that said, I'm not going to heaven. I can't do enough to get to heaven. I'm not going to heaven. Same president just said, can't nobody stop him from doing what he wants to do except for him. You think he retains the thoughts of the Most High in his heart? Huh, Grandma? Huh? The Lord said this man is full of pride, arrogancy, deception, deceit, got by riches. I mean, the whole nine. The Lord is not dealing with him. She talking about thank God for this president. We can thank God for him because he is going to lead to the destruction of the country, just like he said in the judgment on America, because he just got to saying, I can destroy the country. Most High, when the Most High does use him as a pawn to destroy this place. That's what we thank the Most High for having him in there. Couldn't be a better stooge and pawn for the Most High to use. But here she goes. Okay, let me let her go.
I am filled, my cup runneth over.
Oh, good Lord.
Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder.
Hold on.
I like him too.
Sorry, y'all. Now the woman said she likes him because he allowed his constituents to come to her house to talk about her grandson that got killed. Talk about, not do anything about, prosecute, not. Come on, Granny, sit down. Let's talk about what happened to your grandson. Oh yeah, we're gonna do everything we can to make some changes. We're gonna make DC greater again. And but believe you me. And then Grandma said, I'm an advocate for murder. Honey, do you know what you just said? You're pro-murder. You just advocated that you were in agreement with your grandson getting put to death. This is why you got to watch what you're saying and analyze your mouth and your words. As the scripture even tells us, man, prepare what thou shalt say before you say it. I don't know if it's the nerves or she thought she was being intelligent, but she said, I'm an advocate for murder. Oh. Come on, Grandma.
God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder.
Hold on. Let me make sure. She said I'm an advocate for murder, right? Maybe I'm wrong. She says she's an advocate for murder, to speak, plead, or argue in favor of. Oh. To support. So she's a supporter of murder. She speaks in favor of murder. Honey, Granny, did you understand what you just said? I know you stumble with constituents and his people. She had to clean that. Stop trying to go up there trying to sound intelligent and trying to act like you know what you're talking about. You just supposed to be an emotional crutch to try to gain it. You know our people are emotional. You know our people wear our hearts on our sleeves. You know we're continually motivated by emotion and excitement. You know, you was brought up there to bring that out, and you just said I'm an advocate for murder. You can't make this up, man. And Agent Orange ain't even catch. You know, he thinking that she's saying the right things. All right, let me get back over here.
Cup runneth over.
Cup runneth over. Come on.
Because he allowed his constituents, his people, to come to my house to interview me to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched. I rallied. I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Woo.
Woo. Come on. You don't knock it off. What should that tell you? What should that tell you? You march, you drag other people into the... All right. See, she marched, she did it all, right? She advocate for murder. Good Lord. Isaiah 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children. Speaking of her, my cup runneth over. Oh, good Lord. Nobody cared because I'm an advocate for murder. Come on, Granny. You got to do better, man. Who let her out the cage, man, to get up there and do all this? Maybe she got a little bread, you know, because they sat her down and said, listen, we want to talk about your grandson. Yeah, we're unfortunate, We're going to help you. We're going to get you. Hey, matter of fact, we got a Black History Month, what they call obligatory, or forget it. Here I go sounding like her. Obligation to acknowledge this month we gave to y'all, right? What'd you say you come on down here and endorse the president and speak on that? How about that? We'll give you a whole platform, Granny. You want to do that? Oh, yes, sir. I so like to get up there. My cup runneth over. I so ready to go up there and talk about Mr. Trump. Isaiah 30. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Yeah, our people invest in America, man. They want to continue on and they sin and they wickedness. America encourages it, never speaks of correcting, never speaks of repentance. Just continue on in sin and unrighteousness and wickedness and idolatry and abominations, and just continue on in it. That walk to go down to Egypt and have not asked in my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. I marched. I went out. I tried to get everybody, and nobody wanted to listen. You know why? Because you going about it the wrong way. The Lord said that no hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. You can't go out there trying to march down. What is that in Proverbs 10, I believe? You think you going down here in some damn and I was about to say Rainbow Coalition. That's why Jesse Jackson is RIP right now. You know, that dude caused a whole lot of thorns in the side of Israel, man. A whole lot of confusion. The African American whole situation, that was a stumbling block from the depths of hell for us. But he's out of here. But anyway, where's that scripture? Is it in 10? I can't find it, but for time's sake, man, just remember that one. Yeah, no hand join the hand, the wicked's not gonna go unpunished. She thinking going up there, marching up and down the streets, and thinking, you know, she's strengthening herself in the shadow of Egypt, thinking that protesting, marching, and running down the city hall is actually going to change the framework of a whole system that's built on white supremacy, built on white favor, you know, last hired, first fired, all that stuff, man. We're built up to be the butt of everybody's damn joke, the gum on the bottom of the shoe of the nations, man. You're not gonna go in there and make a change with the goddamn thing at all. Those things have been played out. We got to march. That does not change anything. As she just got through saying, I tried it all, nothing worked. I wonder why. haven't asked the mouth of Most High to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. This is why she's going to sit back and say, well, damn it, I went up there and spoke and nothing changed. DC is still a hellhole. DC has still got problems. People still getting killed, getting murdered. Until our people repent and really understand what the nature of our issue is, the nation is going to continually take advantage of us. Psalm 62, verse 10. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. So, number one, the Lord said, don't trust in oppression. And the Lord said, don't trust in riches and don't trust in the rewards that comes with unrighteousness. But here we are, going back over this woman, trusting in oppression. Let me get one more. Lamentations 4, what? Is it yeah, verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. Let me go back over here, man. Let me let Granny finish this up. It's only 2.5 minutes, and I couldn't get past a minute.
Until this Republican sent his constitution, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me. Until this Republican.
They're going to throw her in there to try to create even more strife. Democrat, whatever. Democrats. Get mad at me. I made my choice. Master's been good to me. He came to my house with his constituents and told me I could speak.
Send his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me.
Yeah, Sirach 13 says, if he had needed it, he'll use you. Yes, I've heard of that thing before. If you read in what is it, 2nd Maccabees, I think it's a 6th chapter. I could be wrong on that, but the brother Elder Eleazar, they tried to coerce him to convince the people to ride with the Greeks, try to offer him to eat a clean meat, but told the people it was going to be an unclean meat to get them to commit themselves to idolatry and eating of abominations. And Eleazar said, go to hell. Even if you didn't defile me, I'm not going to be the pawn being used to defile my people. He went off and unalived himself. He said, man, I'd rather die than to go back and be the cause of my nation getting destroyed. Have you ever heard anything like that? Boss man sent constituents to my house and talk to me. What an honor that you got some goddamn white folks to come to your house to talk to you. That's supposed to be glorified now? Out of here, lady. Good Lord.
Twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life.
Oh, there she go. Now she preaching. No, she said they brought her twice to be a mouthpiece to back the big, beautiful bill so that they can fund ICE, so that they can fund and get the National Guard out on the streets. The big, beautiful bill didn't have nothing to do with changing the laws of the judicial system. What is she talking about?
Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple.
Oh, come on.
And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on.
The same National Guard that went harass people sitting on their porches, chilling. Remember that video I showed y'all? The ICE and National Guard rolled with National Guard. I think it was ICE. It was some DHS agent, somebody. I forgot what agency they was with. Walked up on them brothers, man, sitting on their porch talking about, hey, what you guys doing? They're like, man, we sitting on our porch, man. It's private property. What you talking about? Oh, yeah, it looked like you had some weed with you. You said, man, it's a cigarette, whatever. Like, what are you tripping for? Oh, well, we're just going through neighborhood to neighborhood telling you, man, Trump put out the order, man. Stay, be careful because he's sending us out here to get y'all. Remember that? That's what she wanted? Harassing innocent people?
I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody.
Too late, honey. Too late, Grandma. You know what was gonna come with it. That's why she already don't be talking about me because I love him and I'm boss, man. Bend over, please. Let me pucker up.
Deserves to be stand up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him. And Grandma said it.
Good Lord. You can see how hesitant he even wants to embrace this woman, man. Keeping her at an arm's distance. Is that a real hug? I mean, come on. Look at this. Stop right there, honey. Let's get you close. Get on. Beat it. You did good. Get your black ass up out the state. Unbelievable, man. Disgusting. Let me get one more. I still got Isaiah 30. I want to read a little bit down. Shame on her, man. Grandma says so. Oh, boy, we got a long way to go, man. Isaiah 30:12. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in the high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. I mean, the woman is going to continually experience the same thing that's been going on in her community, the same thing that's been going on within our communities, because the children of Israel refuse to repent and follow after the righteousness of the Most High. But she would rather trust in oppression and perverseness. I love this man, and I don't want to hear about nothing that racist stuff. Yeah. You don't want to hear about him falsely accusing Haitians of eating the dogs. Remember that? They're eating the dogs. Oh, they come from whole countries. I don't want to hear anyway. I've done more for black people than Abraham Lincoln, all of them combined. Because what, you gave a pardon to Lil Wayne and Kodak Black? Is that why you're supposed to be exonerated and exalted? I mean, where are all the black people in your cabinet of officers? You got one Jake is got some little low level position in his office, man. He got no black Hispanics in his office. What are you talking about? I don't want to hear about that racist stuff. The man done got a laundry list of lies that he had told. You know what? You don't want to listen to me. Let me let Esau do it.
Have you guys seen Sean?
Here go Sean Ryan, this guy right here. Some of y'all may have seen his show, the Sean Ryan show. He got a vast audience on YouTube. I'm going to just let him go ballistic on Trump, man, and all of the false promises. This from his own damn people that trusted in him. What the hell has your black ass got to do with trusting him if they don't? They felt betrayed. And she's sitting back trying to tell her, no, I don't want to hear about it. He's a good man. Master treat us good. Huh? Grandma said it. Okay, Grandma. Let me let one of his own people tell you, don't trust this man. You tripping.
You got your 6.
I think it's all real. I think we all knew it was going to be horrific, and we don't even know the half of it, but it is worse than we were all expecting. But I'll tell you one thing that it has proved. Watching the administration dodge it and try to hurry it up and move along. I just saw today they don't think the American people should be talking about this anymore.
I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else. Now that nothing came out about me.
Well, I got news for you. The American people are the ones that voted you in. We're the ones that voted you in, and we told you what we wanted before your ass got in there. And you're not doing it. None of these people that we elected. It's pathetic. And so what it shows is a 2-tiered justice system, just like we all suspected and we've been talking about for years, the two-tier justice system. Why would you not investigate every single son of a bitch that went to that island? Doesn't mean they're all guilty. Doesn't mean that at all. But it at least calls for some type of investigation, not just sweeping the shit under the rug like they always do. And they always have done. They bat this shit around. They get people all fired up. And then there's no justice. None. I'll tell you what, though. There sure as hell would be if it would have been me and you. But nope. The political elites answer to no one. No one. That's how it goes. That's how it's been for a long, long time. Unbelievable. You know, I don't even see right or left, Republican, Democrat, black, white. I don't see any of that shit anymore. I see good and I see a whole lot of evil. And those are the two categories that we need to be concerned about.
They are legitimately, proactively protecting.
They are protected
by redacting the abuser's names. The White House, listen up, everybody. The White House is protecting. You hear that? They're protecting. That's what they're doing.
I've been pretty quiet about Pam Bondi in front of Congress the other day, talking about how the Dow's up to 50,000. Nobody gives a fuck. Because what you should be talking about is how you are going to investigate and prosecute any pedophiles that are running around on Epstein Island that you're affiliated with. But we didn't talk about that, did we?
So, Grandma, don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else that came at you. Don't want to listen to you. Since you trust the white man so much, man, they're already just upset just over the files alone. But you see, he had to pause so many times, man. Y'all got to pardon the profanity, whatever. But what's real is real. They're all disappointed and dejected and all jacked up because they got duped. And now she going down this damn wormhole and rabbit hole thinking he's the savior. Yeah, I'm getting ready to throw up if I keep talking about her, man. Let me get up out of here.
Have you guys?
Look at it. Epstein files, get some prosecutors, plenty to investigate. They got plenty to investigate over there in the UK. They out here, you know, putting out the watchdogs, and they looking to prosecute some more people. America ain't doing nothing. Highest profile example came Thursday when UK authorities arrested the former Prince Andrew on suspicion of his conduct. We know about that. They're also investigating Peter Mandelson, the former ambassador to the U.S. authorities in Norway, have charged former Prime Minister Thorbjorn Jagland with corruption, and prosecutors in France said they're opening 2 investigations related to Jeffrey Epstein. The UK, man, one thing I give them, man, is they do kind of get proactive when it comes down to certain elements of justice sometimes, at least especially when you're dealing with food and things like that. They don't put a whole lot of the ingredients and the defiled things in their foods over there that we do over here. You know, they get proactive with certain things, man. But they're saying, hey, we're opening investigations. What are they doing in the U.S.? Covering up, and Agent Orange saying, I'm exonerated. I didn't do anything. We can close the books. And you just seen Esau, Sean Ryan, and them saying, man, they're actively covering up PDF files, running wild, and letting them get loose all throughout the country and the world. Still letting them do what they want to do. Just because the island is shut down and Lolita Express is shut down, that don't mean that the trafficking of kids and girls is not going on. We see that's still going on. Big time PDF file rings is getting shut down or getting caught or getting exposed. It's still happening, man. Little girls are disappearing everywhere from Ohio to Canada to the reservations. All of these missing kids that got separated from their families crossing the border, where are they at now? Joe Biden stopped the whole DNA family matching testing before he left office, so they can't even find where the children belong. Secret flights flying out of different countries. It's still going on. And what's America do? Sweep it under the rug, man. Cover up the tracks. We got sloppy. Look at it. Even Bill Gates, man, he had to pull out. No pun intended. Pulls out a high-profile Indian AI summit as Epstein fallout accelerates. Remember, he got busted. They said he was philandering with some Russian prostitutes. Caught the clap. and had to slip his wife antibiotics before she found out what was going on. And you remember, I played the video with her. She was like, "It's just sad. You see, I had to leave my marriage. It was bad. I had to get up out of there." So now we can see why that marriage dissolved. She found out, man, this dude was tripping and brought some stuff home. And now he's saying, yeah, I do regret taking pictures and being around him, but I didn't do anything. What? Epstein fallout continues to spread by the day, with billionaire Les Wexner saying he was conned by Jeffrey Epstein, insisting he did nothing wrong earlier this week. Yeah, Lex Wexner, this old Edomite man, he was on there testifying, speaking about everything, talking about he got conned. And yes, he was at the beauty pageants and all that, but that was only because, you know, his affiliations with Victoria's Secret, and it was good for the brand, but he did nothing wrong. And then his lawyer whispered in his ear, man, if you answer any more of these questions, man, I'm gonna kill you. Now they can say, oh, it was just a joke, joking in jest. Oh, okay. This is wild, man. So Gates, man, had to do some PR moves and had to back out of this AI summit in India, because now Elon looking at him like, oh, you bringing that over here? Oh, your word is not what it used to be anymore, Mr. Gates. Here's his statement. After careful consideration and to ensure the focus remains on the AI Summit's key priorities, Mr. Gates will not be delivering his keynote address. The Gates Foundation will be represented by Ankur Vora, president of Africa and India offices, who will speak later today at the summit. The Gates Foundation remains fully committed to our work in India to advance our shared health and development goals. Too much heat going on. Now, look at this. When you look at Revelation 11 and 8, it said this place is spiritual Sodom. And I made mention of this before, and I'm telling you, somebody listening to this, because as I said, man, the tech giants is being ran by the Sodomites. You know, you've got different branches of these demons, man, that's running this place. And when the scriptures say that, let's just get it. For those who are unaware, those who are new, those who ain't familiar with or ain't read this precept in a while, or Revelation 11 and 8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. This great city is talking about Babylon. Revelation 14, I believe in verse 8, tells you that the great city is Babylon, aka America. Dead bodies lying in the street. We know that our people have been persecuted, destroyed, and killed in these cities. Millions of bodies have been attributed to colonization, broken peace treaties, hangings, lynchings, burnings, Jim Crow, you name it, have been committed in this place, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. So it's going to be spiritually ran with the spirit of Sodom. We know about the offenses that was happening in Sodom in Genesis 19, all of the debauchery, the sodomite activity, the homosexuality. You got the alphabet community running and calling shots in various sectors, in tech, politics, you name it. Egypt representing bondage. This place spiritually holds people in captivity, spiritually, mentally, and physically. It has done so. Where also our Lord was crucified. The Bible says that we're the body of Christ. We have suffered persecution here and been crucified, being persecuted like Christ. You know, not only through that, but through the spiritual means. He's been persecuted through lies and deceptions, being held out through religious heads and the World Council of Churches, so forth and so on. Open crucifixion, open lies, open deception has happened, let alone physically. We also, as the body of Christ, have been crucified, right? Spiritually, this place is being ran through a sodomite spirit, but also physically. Inside the gay tech mafia, gay men have long been rumored to run Silicon Valley. And look at this damn picture, man. It don't get no worse than this. So for a long time, the tech arm, when you're dealing with a technocracy, which is basically a rulership being ran and directed by technology based, this is why you see the AI, the rise of AI, Trump dedicating $500 billion towards the tech industry and AI development. Who's he giving this money and funding to? Why are they even having AI bots collecting data? Getting back to that hacking article we just read. Well, actually, it was a post. The hack post talking about world leaders and everybody else getting tracked down with blackmail material. Who's doing it? The sodomites is collecting all the stuff to give them more power. So when you're dealing with guys like Novel, what's his name? Yuval Noah Harari, sodomite. You're dealing with Sam Altman, sodomite. Peter Thiel, sodomite. These guys all running OpenAI, running Palantir, running Google, and all these other stuff, man. These are the ones who's calling the shots, man. But running through the spiritual arm of Sodom. No one can say exactly when or if gay men started running Silicon Valley. They seem to have dominated its upper ranks at least the past 5 years, maybe more. On platforms like X, the clues are there. Whispers of private island retreats, tech executives going, quote, gay for clout. Do you hear this? This is the gay for pay. These are cats that saying they straight, getting into these particular circles, paying to be involved. It's casting couches going on even in the tech sector, man. Forget Hollywood. These guys are like, this is the direction everything is going, man. I better get on board or else. Look, and the suggestion that a, quote, seed round is not strictly speaking a financial term. It is an idea so taken for granted, in fact, that when I call up a well-counted hedge fund manager to ask his thoughts about what is sometimes referred to in industry circles as the, quote, gay tech mafia, he audibly yawns. Of course, he says. You hear about a gay mafia in the entertainment industry. Gay mafia now is in the tech industry. This spirit of Sodom, man, is running the show. This has always been the case. It had been the case, the hedge fund says back in 2012, when he was raising money from a venture capitalist whose office was staffed but with dozens of, quote, attractive, strong young men, all of whom were, quote, under 30 and looked as though they had freshly decamped from the high school debate club. They were all sleeping with each other and starting companies, he says. And it is absolutely the case now, he adds, when gay men are running influential companies in Silicon Valley and maintain entire social calendars with scarcely a straight man, much less a woman, in sight. Of course, the gay tech mafia exists, he continues. This is not some Illuminati conspiracy theory, and you do not have to be gay to join. They like straight guys who sleep with them even more. They love turning the cats out, man. Gay for pay, gay for clout. They're running the tech sector, Big Brother, AI, all of that stuff, man. More evidences of the spirit of Sodom ruling this place, man. You know, this is why that you can't. Our people be having these self-sympathetic arms talking about, man, the alternative right. These guys are coming down on the trans community, and they are running every damn thing. They're not being oppressed. They rode on the backs of civil rights and the blood, sweat, and tears of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Rode that in on the high wave, and then they said, we got it from here. They're in political offices. They're running companies. They're, completely running the whole sector of tech, which is the forefront of the leader, the forefront and leader of the country and the world. There you have it. And it's a mafia, meaning they got rules, regulations, guidelines, and consequences if you come against them or if you join them. Let me let this one play here.
On our current trajectory, we believe we may be only a couple of years away from early versions of.
And here's one of them. Here's one of them. The India AI Impact Summit 2026. This is where Bill Gates, I believe, was going to go speak to, but he had to back down because he had his own indiscretions. Sam Altman. I don't want to misquote. Maybe Sam Altman is straight. Is he straight? Oh, maybe not. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman marries partner Oliver Mulheron Here he goes. And his loving husband. Oh my goodness. Here he goes. Now let me let him play. Here's what he says.
On our current trajectory, we believe we may be only a couple of years away from early versions of true superintelligence. If we are right, by the end of 2028, more of the world's intellectual capacity could reside inside of data centers than outside of them. This is an extraordinary statement to make. And of course, we could be wrong. But I think it really bears serious consideration. A superintelligence, at some point on its development curve, would be capable of doing a better job being the CEO of a major company than any executive, certainly me, or doing better research than our best scientists.
So, translation, by 2028 or sooner, they are developing and are looking at transferring high-level data and intelligences to be ran by AI. I know Bayan loves to talk about, and I agree with him. One of the better movies is Eagle Eye. You know, every episode, I'm gonna give y'all a movie to watch. Eagle Eye is essentially what he's talking about. And he said by 2028, we could be wrong. That's just a quote disclaimer. That doesn't mean that they're not fast tracking, looking to centralize all intelligence going through AI. He said AI could be the CEO of a company. AI could be doing better than scientists. And these dudes are going to be the controllers. And eventually they're looking to be transhumanists to merge themselves in with AI. As science fiction as that sounds, a Star Trek basis, that's what they believe, and that's what they're looking towards doing. Romans 1:25, who changed the truth of God into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creator who is blessed forever. This is what ends up happening. You got controllers and people, and our people being influenced by these same individuals who now are trying to worship the creature, their creations, more than the Most High. Isaiah 14:14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. This is what they are trying to develop. They're trying to be creators to allow AI to be the central hub of intelligence, the motherboard for everything. And you, me, and everybody is not included in the advancement of that information. So this is what they're trying to do. I'm gonna play one more. This guy's name is Richard. I forgot his last name, but he's a physicist, man, transhumanist. Listen to what he got to say.
We are going to become gods. Period. If you don't like it, get off. You don't have to contribute. You don't have to participate. But if you're going to interfere with me becoming God, you're going to have big trouble. Then we'll have warfare. The only way you can prevent me in this 50 or is to kill me. If you kill me, I'll kill you.
You're really acquiring.
Now that dude's already got put to death, I believe. And here goes Yuval Noah Harari, a small hat sodomite, running tech as well. He's anti-Bible, anti-God, the whole nine. And he's a transhumanist and believes he's gonna become God too.
Divine powers of creation and destruction. We are really upgrading humans into gods. We are acquiring, for instance, the power to re-engineer life.
That's what we're dealing with, y'all. So not only do you have an elite who thrive on abusing, terrifying, unaliving, being PDF files to children, you got another sector who are living abominable lifestyles, defiling themselves with mankind, power hungry, living through technological lenses. Then you got the atheists, you got the racists, we got a whole war ahead of us, man. But these are the key characters, man. When you seeing Sean Ryan talking about it's good against evil, man, the Bible already said that.
We are going to be.
And he's already on the wrong side of the tracks. So before we close out, one other thing, man, there was potential terror attack that happened in Vegas, man. I don't know if he was Esau or not. More than likely he was. Cat tried to ram his car into a power station and knock out the grid in Vegas. I don't know what he what he did, but clearly he didn't think this one out well enough. Once he realized he didn't hit the damn power station, the car crashed, jacked up beforehand. He went and unalived himself. But this is how close we are. To imagine if he got through, knocked out the power station in Vegas. That would have sent shockwaves all throughout the country, man. Oh, terror attack, we're under attack, power grid down. Police in Vegas are investigating the ramming of a power station as possible act of terrorism. Dawson Maloney, 23, on Thursday drove his car into a substation in Boulder City, Nevada, and was found dead at the scene, police said. Maloney, who had been reported missing in Albany, New York, was found at the facility with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He's wearing body armor, and his vehicle was packed with weapons, including shotguns and a flamethrower. Kevin McCahill, sheriff of Las Vegas Department, said on Friday his team had uncovered as part of their investigation a number of books belonging to Maloney related to extremist ideologies, including right and left-wing extremism, environmental extremism, white supremacy, and anti-government ideology. Police also found explosive materials and components. Well, yeah, I believe it was too. But there you go. He dropped the ball on that one. They tried to get the false flag set up. They had a dummy lined up. Didn't get it off, and ended up losing his life in the long run, man. But a whole lot going on, y'all. Hopefully this was edifying, man, and helped y'all get through your Shabbat today, man, and got some things you can go research, get some more information on. But you see what it is, man. You see where we're at. So with that being said, I'm gonna get on out of here, man. We got our closing Shabbat class coming up in a couple hours. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. While y'all was shy, you already know. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments. Don't shoot the messenger. Shalom.